Ladies and gentlemen and underwater creatures, this is Roy from Simple Trade with a very special guest today on Simply PennyWhale. The one and only trader from the deep, PennyWhale, is with us today, and he's going to talk about his origin, his story, and what it's like growing in a normal and average way, but being able to succeed in a very abnormal and extraordinary way today as a trader. So PennyWhale, welcome and excited to
Thank
have
you, Roy.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much for
tell
having
us
me.
about yourself.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction. I'm blessed to be here. Thank you so much. I was waiting for pretty long to do this first podcast, so I guess
Finally,
this is the
right?
perfect time to start it. Yes, yes, because people, see the picture, see the cartoon of the whale with the swag, but believe it or not, there is a person behind the whale with the swag.
Wow. Yeah, no, we're excited to see who that person is. And man, just so we can also help people, that are experiencing the same things and knowing that they have a mentor that's been there and that's been through the same things that they have. So it's amazing, man. Let's start right from the beginning. Where were you born, your family, things like that?
Well, I was born in Russia. I guess it can be heard by my accent. My family immigrated to Israel. I was about 4 years old. My family is pretty average. We were not rich, we were not poor, but we had everything we needed, me and my brother. I have the most amazing parents in the world. I'm blessed to have them. Of course, let's move to the high school. I was pretty average, not a good student, definitely not the best student, also not the worst student. My hobbies at high school were playing soccer with my friends and basically video games. That's what I love to do as a teenager, as a kid.
Nice. And what
Well,
kind of video games did you play?
well, I still play FIFA. I still like to play like
Oh, okay.
sport games.
Nice.
That's what excites me the most. But when I was younger, I used to love Call of Duty.
Nice. I'm sure there's
Yeah,
like many of your followers that probably play, those games, Call of Duty and stuff like that.
definitely, definitely. No, I'm 32, and I think the generation that is a bit younger than me, so let's say from 26 to 30, they're even more gamers than I am.
So what happened after you were done playing video games, playing some soccer, I think you said, average
Yeah,
student. It sounds like, it just sounds average until now. When does it get spicy?
well, it doesn't get spicy for about 10 years later, but let's go step by step. After the high school, I enlisted to the army. At the beginning, I was a combat engineer. I had let's call it a heated debate with my commanding officer. So then I was a cook for the rest of my service. I served for 3 years in the army. After the army, I really had the dream, to moving further, to move to the US because, everybody's looking at the US, at the movies and say, wow, United States is so amazing. It's the land of opportunities. And believe it or not, I'm not sure people will believe you. About 7, 8 years ago, I couldn't speak a single word in English. So yes, I
Wow.
went to the US without knowing English at all. I
Just
remember
with a
myself
dream.
coming to McDonald's, and a friend of mine took me from the airport. We went to McDonald's, and then I said with my pure Middle Eastern accent, "Hey, can I have hamburger?" And they look at me like, "What? What do you mean? I can hamburger, hamburger." Oh, a hamburger, of course. So that's my first memory from the US. That's how I remember my beginning. Well, I was
Wow.
working as a salesperson for pretty
Okay.
long, and then I opened a small retail business. It was super exhausting. I was working day and night, day and night, day and night. I was making money. I'm not gonna complain about the money I was making, but I was definitely
You were
wanted something
losing
much
some
much bigger.
hair for sure as well.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Was it
That's
like a
why
rough work? Like you were just up and on your feet early in the morning, going out late at night?
exactly. Yes, yes, yes. This is something I learned there. I'm a hardworking man. That's I can tell about myself. So this is something. The discipline is something I exercised there. Yes, when I opened my first retail business.
And you also
Actually, the
probably
first retail.
noticed what it is to do something on your own. Like, just to take that risk, put in the money, go all in.
Yes, in a new country, without family, without many friends. Yes, it was a nice first experience. Definitely. for sure it made me the person I'm today. For sure, I'm grateful.
Nice. And what happened to that retail business?
Well, I was looking for something much bigger. So then I was doing a car wholesaling in the US. I was going to all the auctions, buying cars, trying to fix them and selling them again. Well, I lost so much money on that business because I just didn't know what I'm doing. I have no, I have no passion about cars. I have no experience. I had no experience with cars.
So what made you want to do it? Like a friend or something like that?
When you do the retail business, so I was selling like cosmetics and stuff, and it's cheap. And then you think, well, if I would, not a bad salesperson. If I was selling expensive stuff, for example, real estate or cars, I would make so much more money. So that's why I went for it, basically. But it just didn't go well. We lost some money. I had a partner also. We lost some money, but that's fine, especially that time because the auctions were in the morning and because I'm not the person who was fixing the cars. I was hearing about the stock market and I said, okay, well, I have some spare time. Let me start to learn it. And believe it or not, it was love from the first sight. That's how I can call it.
What attracted you the most? What made you feel like, hey, you know what, I really want to do this? Was it because you just saw, a movie about the stock market, or just you're seeing what kind of returns people were getting, or you were more interested in, learning how companies trade and how stocks work?
Well, the only thing that motivated me, to be honest, is the money.
Yeah,
This is the
no,
only
that's
thing. Like,
that's I mean, that's completely valid. I mean, sometimes you need to make money, and then sometimes, you see people getting successful around you. You kind of need to
yeah,
understand what's going on there.
yep, exactly. So I remember my first trading day. I had no idea what I'm doing, but I just bought some stock and then I made like $800 and I was, wow, I'm going to be rich. It's going to be iffy. This is my first day and I made $800. I called all my friends. I called all my family and said, wow, that's it. I'm going to be rich. It's so easy. You buy cheap, you sell when it's go up and that's it.
And
And I
today you
was
look
like,
at that probably laughing
euphoria.
too.
But that's what happened to many new traders. They think, I even tell it to my students, I prefer, even if it sounds bad, I prefer my new students at the beginning to lose some money, not to gain money without knowing what they're doing.
Yeah,
This is the worst thing that can happen
to
because
learn
then
how
they
to take
get
a
this.
shot, to learn to get that feeling of losing, maybe.
It's not about the feeling of losing. If you made money
Mhm.
and you don't know why you made this money, it's the worst thing that can happen because then you can be in euphoria. You can think it's easy. And this is the worst thing that happened to a trader or to any person, that overconfidence. You never, never, never can be in that state of mind as a trader of overconfidence. It's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, so it's actually worse to get lucky than to actually lose but know what happened.
Yes, if you look on trading as a process, if you look, I always say that trading is a stew. It's not a steak. Steak, you put it one side 2 minutes, the second side 2 minutes, it's ready. A stew, it takes time. As longer it's cooking, the better the taste. That's the exact thing that happened with traders. They need just to trust the process. They need to go through all the challenges. And if the challenges come at the beginning, I think it's gonna be much, 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 much easier later on. This is out
Yeah.
of my experience, out of all my students' experience.
Sorry, you let's take a little step back. You went to the retail business, and then you heard about the stock market. You made $800 on your first trade, and then what?
Then the second day, I guess I lost $3,000. The 2 first weeks, I lost $10,000, and then I just start losing money, and losing and losing and losing and losing and little bit winning and losing and losing and losing and losing. I didn't make any money for 2 or maybe 3 years of trading. Nothing, 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 nothing. But I still believed I can make it. I was dedicated. I didn't miss a single minute of trading. I was trying to educate myself as much as I can, and still I couldn't make that money. Nothing. It didn't come easy to me. Well, I say it all the time, but let me say it again. I'm not. I have no God-given advantages. I'm super ordinary. I'm not smarter. I'm not more intelligent. I have nothing. I barely spoke English.
So what was the turning point? At some point you were losing all this money. You lost, $10,000 in what, under 2 to 3 weeks. What did you decide? What was the turning point after that?
Well, after 2 or 3 years, I was actually all my life savings were going down. So I was looking for a job. Now it wasn't so easy to find a job because I didn't have such a nice resume because all my life I was
An entrepreneur.
self-employed, so
Yeah.
I was not employed. So nobody was really impressed, but I did find a job. They offered me $3,000 a month, so that's about $36,000 a year. Well, I said, no, guys, it's not enough. Let's make it $4,000 a month, and yeah, we can go for it. Now, thanks God, luckily for me, they rejected it. And in the meantime, I just made a simple switch in my brain. Till that very moment, I was trying to get rich, like rich quick in the stock market. And from this point, the only thing I was trying to do is to make living. So the switch was from being rich, from trying to get rich as quick as I can, to to start making money
To
consistently. And
build a
that was the switch.
business, to build a living, yeah.
So I think if I wouldn't make that switch, I'm not sure I was able to be here today. Let me tell you that.
So the switch really, like if we summarize, you were losing all this money, and for you, looking back at it, the mindset you had was just to get rich quick, to take that money and to turn it into quick money and easy money. And then you were losing, 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 but then at some point, and this is great, this is, I think, something great for not only traders but any person really. At some point you realized, hey, instead of getting rich quick, maybe I should focus on this like it's my living. Like I need to make a living out of this. This is my only chance, and this is my focus. And then essentially you're saying things started turning around.
Yes, from that very moment when I
And how
was
did they
with the
turn
back to
around?
the wall, let's say it like that, with the back to the wall, when I had basically nothing to lose because I was already looking for a job, I was about to accept a $4,000 salary a month, and everything changed. Yes, from that simple switch in my mind, from trying to get rich fast, quick, to just make living. Yes, and from that very moment, everything is different.
Yeah, and once you made that switch, what kind of decisions did you make after that? What kind of things did you change? Like, were you kind of starting with different methods, or were you learning differently? Were you looking for a mentor? Like, how did it look like?
Unluckily for me, I didn't have a mentor, so I learned everything by my own. The one thing I changed is just to realize profit. Simply, the biggest advice I can give to new traders is you never go wrong realizing profits. So just don't go for the one jackpot because it might not come. This is the thing. So sometimes I had, like, let's say $20,000 profits, and I just was so in love with the stock, and I was thinking, no, it's gonna go 1,000% more, it's gonna go 2,000% more, and then I didn't realize the profit, and then pop, after a few days I lost all the profit I could make, and that's it. You start from the beginning, and you feel depressed, and you just hate yourself for not selling that stock, for taking and realizing that profit. So that's what happened. That's what was happening to me all the time. So instead of just trying to hit that one jackpot, I was just making money consistently. $200 there, $500 there, $1,000 there, and that's how it all started.
And is it fair to say that if you had a mentor earlier on, maybe you could have figured that out way quicker? Obviously, it's your journey, it's your life, it's how you were, like, you went through it. You kind of tried figuring it out yourself, and you did. But for some people that, don't necessarily make it or give up too quick, I mean, having a mentor to just tell you that really fundamental thing is life-saving.
Definitely, you can learn by yourself like me, but it took me 3 years. or you can have a mentor who made all those mistakes, and it's definitely can be a shortcut to the success.
So you made that shift. Things started looking up. You were making a bit more money, and when I say a bit more, I mean a lot more. And then what happened?
Well, I was making more and more and more money. The numbers went, if I was making 200 at the beginning, it became 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 dollars a day. I was very, very consistent and things were great. I felt much better with myself and everything was much better in my personal front. And after about 3 years, a friend of mine came with an idea and said, "Hey, you had so much struggle as the beginner," exactly like you told me, Roy. Because you didn't have a mentor, why won't you teach stock trading? Now, at the beginning, I was like super negative about it, and I didn't believe it's even possible to teach profitable trading in the OTC. But the big but.
Big butt.
I still went for it, yes, and I made my first course. It was in Hebrew for the Israeli community. Now, fast forward to today, I lead the biggest community in the Middle East. We have 11,000 members in my Israeli community.
Wow.
And 21 millionaires.
So let's just repeat that for the audience. That's 11,000 people in the community in Israel. And this is what, in under 3 to 4 years?
No, it's in a year and a half.
In a year and a half, right? So after 3 years of you making profits, of you understanding that there's a system in this, of you understanding the ups, the downs, and how to deal with them, you're like, hey, well, actually your friend, right? Because, most of the time when people are doing something well, they don't think about, opening it up, making it accessible to others, which takes even more energy. I mean, you really need to know your stuff to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to teach my methods to others. I'm pretty sure this is going to work for everyone else. And to have this many people in the community and 21 millionaires, essentially, based on that, I mean, the next step for you, obviously, and that's really why we're here a little bit and why Simple Trade exists, is to open it up to the whole world, right?
Yes, that was the thing. I was working on it for about 6 months just to open Simple Trade to the whole world. And I just want to say that, you just heard my story. I came from basically nothing. I built myself. And I'm really blessed and I'm super grateful to be in the position to help so many people. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate each one of you.
That's amazing. And again, Penny, we appreciate kind of the information, knowing more about you. And also, this is the beginning of the podcast. We're excited to see the next episodes, learn more, get guests in there as well. Getting advice to new traders and things like, questions like, what was your most successful trade and things like that. Those are things we can answer in the next episodes. So that's going to be really fun. But again, man, thanks again for sharing your story. Thanks for also kind of giving us a peek into your brain and how you think. And we're super excited for the rest.
Thank you so much for having me, Roy. Let me just finish with a few words. Guys, if I made it, a guy that was an immigrant pretty much all his life. I was immigrated as a kid. I was immigrated as an adult to the US. A guy who didn't speak any English just a couple years back. I have no God-given advantages. I'm not talented. I'm simple as each of you. So if I made it, definitely each one of you can make it. So just trust the process and you will make it. Believe in yourself.
There it is, everyone. Straight from the whale's mouth. Amazing, man.
Thank you so much, Roy.
Thank you,
Let's
Penny.
meet in the next episode.
All right.